Hello, children. Welcome to Social Science class. In this Social and Political Life Unit 1, we have learnt about the equality which has been shared with so many stories that how equality has been ensured among the people, right? So here we saw different discriminations like due to the caste, religion, and we saw about the whether the person is a female or male, and the whether the person has been educated or not, and different religions, and it goes on, isn't it? So in the second part, we are going to see about the equality among the people. So we are going to learn how India as a country supports on equality among the people. So here we all know that the countries are helping the people to treat them equally, isn't it? And the remedies have been taken by the government. So these kinds of aspects we are going to learn in this chapter. So here the thing we are going to learn today is of equality in Indian democracy. So I'll be giving the explanation. So after that, what you can do is you can read it. Okay. So here, first of all, we are living in an India that is of Indian democratic country. We all know that, isn't it? So how will we say democracy? So we all know that we'll say a dialogue for democracy is of for the people, by the people, and of the people. So for example, you have learned this in grade 6. So you have learned most of the chapter about democracy in grade 6, isn't it? So democracy means it's for the people, of the people, and by the people. So by this, we come to know that the people are governing the India. But let us know how equality has been ensured here. And from where, do you know from where the equality has been ensured? Yes, it is by the Indian Constitution. So all the people, whether they are male or female, or from different caste or from different religion, or whether the person has been qualified or not, and economically rich or poor, whoever it is, they were all equal, says the Indian Constitution. Now, as I told you now, that they were all equal, says the Indian Constitution, isn't it? But is this true, what I said? Definitely no, isn't it? So as we were facing lots of problems, right? So in case if we face any problem, we can't go and complain on those days. Okay, but now we can claim a complaint. They have bring certain laws to follow for ill-treating the people or discriminating the people. So for example, ill-treating means you all know. So for example, in the story Om Prakash Valmiki, the Dalit child was made to sit separately, and he should not mingle with other children. So there you can see the particular child has been ill-treated because the discriminating of the people. So in the social science and history, we have learned only the Brahmanas has to enter the temple, the other people, the other religion or other people should not enter. So these kinds of discrimination has been followed up till now, isn't it? So here the Indian Constitution has bring out so many laws to change this. That is of we can get remedies from the system followed in laws. To ensure that laws, we'll see the remedies that are followed. That is of they have enacted many laws in Parliament. Do you know what I mean by Parliament? So have you all looked after the Parliament? In the Parliament, the symbol itself shows, you can see all the people were standing, isn't it? And they were, and you can see all the people who were all workers, like so many workers, like domestic workers, or whether they are going for office, whatever else, all the people are treated equally here. So we have learnt about Parliament, that is of democratic country. So what is the work of this Parliament is of? The laws has been enrolled here for the people, isn't it? So as we are electing some representatives in the election, isn't it? So those elective representatives, what they'll do is they'll go to the Parliament and they'll solve our problems, and they'll maintain a laws. For example, the discrimination if applied in any such place, what they'll do, they'll take that complaint, they'll claim that complaint to the Parliament, so that they'll make a law to follow equal. For example, all the people should follow that measures which have been taken by the parliament, isn't it? Then already the laws has been followed there, but if we need any changes in it, as these elected people, what they'll do, they'll enter into the parliament and they'll change the law for the particular people. Okay. So here then they will take decisions in the parliament for the people. For example, these area people were suffering by this kinds of disease or whatever, the road facilities, whatever it is, the cities have pollution. So all these kinds of decisions will be taken in the parliament. So even in the parliament, they are ensuring the equality here. For example, all the people, whoever, maybe whether they are educated or uneducated background, or they are from different religion, or they are from different caste, whoever they may be, they may enter inside the parliament. So this shows some equality that India has been introduced, isn't it? So all the people are allowed to enter inside the parliament in a democratic country. And the second point I'm going to tell you is of recognition of equality. What do you mean by recognition of equality? So as we are all treated equally, we need some recognition, isn't it? Yes. So here let us see how India recognized the equality for each and every people. So there are so many recognitions followed by the government, but let us learn some today. So I have written 4 points here. What are there? The first one is of every people is equal before the law. And the second point is of no discrimination. And the third point is of access to public places. And the fourth is of abolition of untouchability. Let us talk about the first step, that is of every people is equal before the law. This shows that whoever may be, even the president or prime minister or chief minister, whoever may be, the laws is same for each person, isn't it? Whether they are educated or poor or rich or caste or whatever else. So for the government, the law is equal for all the person, right? So this brings the recognition of equality. That is the first one. And no discrimination. So as we saw in the story, like Mr. and Mrs. Ansari, and we saw the thing in Om Prakash thing. So in India, according to the Indian Constitution, so here they are abolishing that no discrimination should be followed among the people, right? And the third thing is of access to public places. Here the things was telling that whatever it is, whether the temple or church or park or beach or wherever they want to go, they can go, isn't it? But in those days, the certain people, they'll see the caste. So only these kinds of caste people can enter the temple. These kinds of people only can enter inside the town. Like that they have maintained. But now the government has been changed. The Indian Constitution has given the rights to all the people so that they can move on to the public places. Then the last one is of abolition of untouchability. So as we learned in the Om Prakash Valmiki story, there is a caste system followed there, isn't it? Because the Dalit child should not mingle with the other children. He should sit alone. So these kinds of untouchability has been abolished now. So these are the 4 things that has been followed by government to recognize the equality among the people. Then there are some strategies that they have given for the recognition. That is of, for example, so we can come to know that we are given recognition, but we doesn't know whether the above all are followed. So as we saw these 4, right? So we doesn't know whether these are followed. For this to give the recognition, they have followed 2 things. That is of through laws, and one more is of through the government programs and schemes. So what they are doing is, for example, they are implementing the equality among the people through the laws and through the government programs and schemes. So first let us know how they are implementing the equality through laws. For example, the discrimination means you know that, for example, the discriminated people, those days they cannot go and claim a complaint, isn't it? But now the Indian Constitution have given the rights to all the people. If the people has been discriminated in public places, they can claim the complaint over there. So that there is a law acted for the discriminated people, that is of the lower caste people, right? And then the second thing is of, we saw that implementation of equality through government programs and schemes, isn't it? So as we saw, as we conducted the competition in our school, that Kamaraja has introduced the midday meals. Have you all, I think you all know about it, isn't it? So what was the midday meals about? For example, here the Supreme Court itself ordered to start the midday meals. Why, you know? To give the proper food for the children, and it also gives a positive impact by the children and by the parents, because most of the children, they doesn't have the proper food in their home. So the parent thinks that if we send to the school, then the children may get the proper food, isn't it? So for that they send the children to the school first. Then later on they showed interest to study for the food. Then what happened? For example, afternoon, if there is no food in the school, means what they have to do? They have to go home and they have to walk a mile. So that after eating, they cannot return back to school, isn't it? So certain reason they started the midday meals, isn't it? Then after that, another reason is of, for example, some parents may go for the work in different occupation, right? So what they have to do, they have to come back to their home and they have to feed their children, and again they need to go to continue their work. So there are certain things they have to undergo. So here this helps, for example, this midday meals helps all the children from different caste. They all together, they joined and they were taking these kinds of food. So here they implemented the food as well as the uniform, isn't it? So all the children, like for example, why they have implemented the uniform? They may come in a colored dress, but they have implemented the uniform because all the children inside the school campus will be treated equally. So there is no discrimination of caste, religion, or color, or whatever else. All the things they have to keep it outside. So then, for example, you all know that if a child was hunger, the child can't learn. So from this, we may come to know how the government has been ensured the laws for the people. So we learned about two things today, that is of equality in Indian democracy, that we learnt about the Indian Constitution, we learnt about the Parliament and what are the things happened in the Parliament, and what is the recognition of equality given by the Parliament, that is of, we saw that every people is equal before the law, no discrimination, and access to public places, and abolitions of untouchability. To implement that, they have given two rules, that is of through laws and through the government programs and schemes. So the schemes, what are the schemes is of? I told you, the midday meals. For example, the midday meals. Programs is like that. For example, in private schools, we have so many programs. But there, in government schools, when we saw the annual day and the sports day, will all together they'll be having. Why? Because they have to bring forward the children to take the inactive performance by not seeing the caste or religion and whatever else. Okay, so today's homework is of just read page 9 from here, equality in Indian democracy, till here in this book. So in India, contribute to, and you will read more about this in this book. So up till this, that is of page 12, you need to read it. So whatever else I explain now will be there in the book. Now kindly take out your Lead School supplementary book, which is given by Lead School. So here you can see recognizing the dignity. So we all need the dignity, isn't it? Because it's a self-respect which we need from others. Not only the teachers, the students, whoever working outside, whoever the beggars, the sweepers, whoever it is, the humans, all humans need the dignity, isn't it? So when people are treated unequally, their dignity is violated. So dignity means being treated with respect. So every human being deserves to live with dignity. So in each of these stories above, the dignity of different individuals was violated. For example, by sending Simran's brother. So we all heard about the Simran's brother. So the boy child is going to school and the girl's child has to stay in the home, isn't it? So you can see the discrimination. So here the dignity has been spoiled. So here are some 4 situations for Ullas, Radhika, Vikas, and for a bus driver. So here are some 4 situations. So what you have to do is, in which of the situations below do you think someone's dignity is being violated? That means someone's dignity has been spoiled there. So support your answer with reason for each situation. Okay. So this is the homework for you. That is of you have to do the practice question 2, and this is of concept time 3, that is of equality in Indian democracy. Now I told you about constitutional rights and the different schemes and programs and laws that are made by the government and individual efforts. So these are the things given by this. And here you can see that constitutional rights differs. It won't differ for the religion or caste or whatever else. So all should be treated equally. It will be given in this topic. And here we learnt about the midday meals. All these things will be given in this topic. And here laws made by the government as of another law which has been done in the office. For example, nowadays you can see all the ladies and gents, they both are working in a concern, right? But in certain in the previous days and all, the ladies will be getting a low salary and the gents will be getting higher salary. But now the work they have been done equally, so that both of them are getting a same salary. So the equality speaks in the concerns too. So here also the law has been made by the government. And then here individual efforts, that is of, as we saw in the story Om Prakash Valmiki story, we saw that the child was sitting alone, right? So each and every one have the equality to move on. So here you can see, but we all believe that no one is inferior and everyone deserves to be treated with dignity. So here Valmiki also need to treat him with the dignity, isn't it? So equality will remain a distant dream. So with that, I'll end up this class. So just read this alone, and I'll post some topics to learn and copy. Just copy that in the classwork side and just learn to it. So today's homework is of just you read this page 9 till 12. I have marked, and just do this practice question 2 and just read this page is of 91 in your supplementary book. So thank you, dear children.